We all do it. We get on the train, we find a seat, we put in our headphones, and we scroll through our phones. We tune out the world, trusting that the person sitting a few feet away is just another commuter trying to get home. But on November 17, 2025, for a young woman named Bethany MaGee, that trust was broken in the most horrific way imaginable. She was sitting on the Blue Line in downtown Chicago. She didn't know that the man standing behind her was holding a bottle of gasoline. She didn't know that he had been arrested 72 times before, and she didn't know that in seconds, her quiet commute was about to turn into a fight for survival. This isn't just a story about a random attack. This is a story about a system that blinked red 72 times and did nothing until a train car turned into an inferno. Welcome to the nightmare on the Blue Line. To understand the horror of that night, we have to rewind the clock just 20 minutes. It's 8:40 p.m. The Chicago winds are cutting through the streets. Surveillance cameras at a local gas station capture a man named Lawrence Reed. He isn't filling up a car. He's filling a plastic beverage bottle with unleaded gasoline. He pays, caps the bottle, and walks away. He isn't running. He isn't hiding. He is calm. He walks down the stairs into the subway system, swiping his way onto the platform like any other passenger. In his hand, he carries a literal weapon of mass destruction, disguised as a drink. This is the detail that chills investigators to the bone. This wasn't a snap decision. This wasn't a momentary loss of control. He bought the fuel. He boarded the train. He waited. Federal prosecutors now say this wasn't just assault. It was a calculated act of terror designed to turn a public space into a slaughterhouse. And the scariest part, no one looked twice at him. 9 p.m. The train is moving through the subway tunnel near the Clark Lake station. Bethany MaGee, 26 years old, is looking at her phone. Lawrence Reed approaches her. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't ask for money. He simply pours the gasoline over her head. Before she can even process the smell of the fumes, he flicks a lighter. The train car erupts. Panic is instantaneous. Passengers scramble, but Bethany has to fight. Engulfed in flames, she throws herself to the floor. She rolls. She battles the fire with everything she has. As the doors open at Clark Lake, she manages to stumble onto the platform before collapsing. She is critical. She is in agony. But she is alive. While paramedics are rushing to save her, Lawrence Reed simply walks away. He leaves the station. He blends back into the night. But here is where the story shifts from a tragedy to a scandal. Because when police identified Lawrence Reed, they realized they knew him very, very well. Catch and release. It's a phrase we hear on the news constantly. But in the case of Lawrence Reed, it was practically a revolving door. Reed is 50 years old. Since his 18th birthday, he has been arrested at least 72 times. Let that sink in. 72 times. His record is a laundry list of violence and chaos. He has 8 felony convictions. In 2020, he was convicted of arson for setting fire to a government building. He has a documented history of attacking people. And yet, on the night of November 17th, he was walking free. Reports indicate he was supposed to be on electronic monitoring for a separate battery charge. He had violated the terms of his release repeatedly in the days leading up to the attack. The red flags were waving. The system knew he was dangerous. The system knew he was unstable. But no one came to get him. Social media is on fire with this aspect of the case. Threads on Reddit are asking the question, how many chances does one person get before the safety of the public comes first? The Chicago police didn't take long to find him. The very next day, officers spotted Reed. He was wearing the same clothes, and on his hands, fresh burns. The fire he set had scarred him too. When they cuffed him, he didn't deny it. According to the police report, he made spontaneous statements, allegedly shouting, "Burn. B**********. Usually, a case like this would be handled by the state courts. Attempted murder, aggravated battery. But this time, the feds stepped in. The U.S. Attorney's Office charged Reed with a federal terrorism offense. This is a rare and powerful move. It carries a potential life sentence. It signals that the government is treating this not just as an attack on a woman, but as an attack on the entire city's sense of safety. During his first court appearance, Reed was chaotic. He shouted at the judge. He claimed to be a Chinese citizen. He demanded to represent himself. It was a display of the very instability that experts argue should have kept him behind bars in the first place. But for Bethany MaGee, the legal label doesn't matter. The damage is done. Bethany is currently in the hospital, fighting through critical burns. Her family has released photos showing her resilience, but the road to recovery will be agonizingly long. Meanwhile, The city of Chicago is demanding answers. Cook County officials have launched a full judicial review. They are looking at the judges who released Reed. They are looking at the monitoring systems that failed to track him. State's Attorney Kim Foxx admitted that this tragedy exposes gaps in the reform system. But for many, gaps is too polite a word. This case has become a flashpoint for the national debate on bail reform. Supporters say we can't lock people up just because they're poor. Critics point to Lawrence Reed and say we can let monsters walk free just because we re polite. Transportation officials are calling for stricter enforcement. Commuters are looking over their shoulders. And somewhere in a federal holding cell, Lawrence Reed sits, finally detained only after it was too late. Lawrence Reed had 72 interactions with the law. Any one of them could have been the moment he was stopped. Instead, it took a bottle of gasoline and an innocent woman's suffering to finally lock the door. Bethany MaGee survived the fire. Now, the justice system has to prove that her pain wasn't in vain. This case is far from over. As the federal trial approaches, we will keep you updated. But I want to know what you think. Is this a failure of mental health care, a failure of bail reform, or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And please, stay aware of your surroundings, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.